They won't put Booker's name up there, will they? Oh boy. We don't know what happens behind the scenes, but at least we can talk about what we are looking at, what we think about it, right? So, a lot of players, like this, every year there are snubs, right? It's not nothing new to us, and even if we shouldn't even talk about it because we don't feel as bad as the players do. But if, like, yeah, sometimes we do feel as bad as the players because we feel for them. Some of them are our favorite players, and some of the times we see that these players are deserving players. They should be an all-star, but they're not. But let's be honest, there are only 12 spots. Only 12 players can make it to the all-star team. So why should we even talk about snubs? There are only 12 players. The amount of players have increased in the NBA. Not the amount of players, but the amount of talented players. The percentage of talented players have increased. The percentage of players who are really good at basketball has increased. So it's really tough for us to choose top 12 players from one conference, top 12 from other conference. So it's a battle. But there are so many things that can be taken into consideration that about why we should talk about this, why we shouldn't talk about this. Actually, the best way, the most the valid debate would be about which player deserved more. That is the valid, because now it looks like that everybody deserves to be an all-star. A lot of players deserve to be an all-star, and 12 spots aren't enough. So the better conversation would be which player deserved it more when you compare two players, right? So that can be the debate. But there are also questions about the last year I made the video about the all-star system being flawed, and this year I realized that okay, it might not be as much flawed as I think. It is still flawed, but I don't know, like we talk about the criterias for becoming an all-star. What are the criterias? But actually there are no criterias. If we are allowed to vote for them, if we are allowed to vote for the all-star players, then there is no criteria. Why do we ask for criteria if we are being made to vote for the all-star list, even if half of our votes count? So our votes are less accountable, hold less value than the votes that are given by the media personalities or anything else, like from the NBA's organization or anything else. So our vote doesn't hold much value. But still, why do we shouldn't even ask for the criterias if we are the ones who are voting, or the organizations are the one who are voting. Anything we can question is how you think about a player. That's how we can, because I feel it really weird that Devin Booker isn't an all-star, Trae Young isn't an all-star, but Ben Simmons is an all-star, Rudy Gobert is an all-star. So even if these players are deserving, I don't see them being better at basketball than Trae Young or Brandon Ingram or Devin Booker. I don't feel that, regardless of their record in their respective conferences. I don't see that. And also, why was Devin Booker not named last year? Previous years, statistically, the individual seasons that he has had are incredible, better than most of the all-stars, many all-star reserves. But they didn't give it to him because he was not winning. This year he is winning, but his individual statistic performance or the numbers aren't as good as last year, but they are winning. But they still don't give it to him. They give it to Chris Paul, Chris Paul, I don't know, he deserves it or not. Well, he is doing incredible things, and he might be more popular than his Clipper days right now. What he did with OKC, what he did with Houston, and what he has done with Phoenix Suns. We can say Chris Paul was sent. Chris Paul was sent to teams where the situations really was suited for him to build those team up, to get those team up. The situations were like that. But still, Chris Paul was incredible. So I won't question his all-star appearance or not. Devin Booker was not. A lot of players who can be an all-star. So that's been the debate, and it also, as we all know, all-star isn't the selections of all-star isn't based on how good a player is at basketball. It is based on where the flow is, where the flow of NBA is, which player is mostly in the talks, which player people love to talk about the most, which player is more popular. That's how the All-Star selections are actually done. So it doesn't have to do much with basketball, but it also decides a player's future. It also decides players' contracts and salaries. And we also feel good if any good player is getting something, something with his name that really improves his value, that really takes his value higher than previous one. Like All-Star added to any player will definitely be a good thing, better than the previous one, right? But I don't really care who is All-Star or who is not All-Star. What I really care is about watching the All-Star game. Last year's game was really, really good, and I want to see that kind of matchup. But also what I care about is that best players should compete against each other. That's what I care about, and I don't feel that All-Stars are actually the best players or the top 24 players. And now I'm okay with it. I've seen the All-Stars for past many years, and I must say the system is the system. The All-Star is just any other thing which does not relate to the season, which doesn't have to do anything with the season. So now I don't care much about it. So it is what it is. We can't debate much about it. We just have to enjoy the All-Star season.